Welcome, everybody. You are here for another edition of Just the Tip, where we give you just the tip of how to do something. And today we are talking about how to land your next interview. Hi, I'm your host, Allie Rittenhouse, online business coach and digital strategist. And I'm going to give you everything that you need today to be able to land your next interview. Many people get stumped on doing this when they start their business. They're not sure how to get media attention. They think that they have to spend a bunch of money in order to hire a PR firm. And really, none of that's true. You can do this all yourself, and you will be surprised at how easy it is. I have landed almost every single big interview that I have done by simply asking. Revolutionary, huh? Yeah, I know. So what I have done is I have created swipe copy. I've given you all of the steps that you need to do to be able to land your next interview. A couple years ago, I was interviewed by Entrepreneur on Fire. He has an awesome podcast. It's huge, millions of downloads, lots of listeners. And people ask, how did you get John to interview you? Well, it was simple. I sent John an email and said, this is why you need to have me on your podcast. And I gave him my backstory, how I started my business. You know, if you've heard anything about my story, you know it started out as high school dropout, teen mom, fired, divorced, and then I started my business. So what I did was I crafted a great email to John that stated why he needed to have me on his podcast. And in that, I included all of the, not all, accomplishments, big accomplishments that I had hit in my business, as well as what I thought that I could bring to his listeners when he interviewed me. And this helped me stand out from all of the other pitches that he was getting and allowed for me to be interviewed by him. I also used to, on the regular, be on a local lifestyle television show. On there every week, on a specific day, I was one of their regulars. They were asking me what I wanted to talk about, but it didn't start out that way. In fact, it started out again by me sending a pitch email of why they should have me on. I was invited to NASA to be a social media reporter in one of their press conferences. I got to sit in the second row right behind Charles Bolden, the NASA administrator. And I thought that was a pretty nice acclimate to add to my resume. But I also thought that it was something great that this local lifestyle television show may want to put me on to talk about what I got to do. And in fact, they did. And I wowed them so much from before I went on air to being on air to thanking them afterwards for their time in a special email that they then invited me to come back very shortly after. And then from there, it was just a continuous process until I became one of their regulars. These all started out by me pitching the interview. And that is exactly what most people do in order to land interviews. When you hire a PR firm, they are going out and pitching your story for you. If you don't have a lot of money, but you have a lot of time right now, start pitching yourself. If you're not sure where you want to be interviewed at or even to where to start looking at some of your favorite podcasts that you listen to and see if they relate to your niche market or your ideal customer. If you're still unsure, maybe look at a competitor and see where they're being interviewed at in order to get inspiration. And if you're still not sure, well, go to trusty Google. Google has the answer for everything and can help you land your next interview. If you don't want to start big, start small, start local. because local is something that is probably pretty easy to attain and will give you the practice that you need to be successful when you start landing more bigger interviews. Because trust me, the more confident you get, the more interviews you do, the more you're going to get better at pitching and landing them. This has been your episode of Just the Tip. I have everything that you need in order to land your first interview, but you have to take action on it. So right below this video is a link with everything that you need, including a sample pitch that I wrote and I used in order to land an interview. And you can copy it, but make it your own to use it. So it is a swipe file as well as everything that you need to land your next interview. This is something that you should be doing if you have a launch coming up. You want to put these interviews during your launch schedule. So be thinking about that if you have a launch coming up this fall. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Just the Tip. I'm your host, Allie Rittenhouse, online business coach and digital strategist, and I'll be back on Monday with another episode of Afternoon Delight. Hope you have a great weekend and good luck sending out your pitches. I'll see you next time. Here's to you and your success.